Some of you gonna go home tonight and feel like you've been robbed. Some of you may get robbed. Some of you don't belong in the category. Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth. But outside of that, you know, we got to keep showing up. And forget the Grammys for a second, just in life. As my daughter sits and stares at me nervous as I am. Just in life, you got to keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Forget the Grammys. You got to keep showing up until they give you all those accolades you feel you deserve. Until they call you chairman. Until they call you a genius. Until they call you the greatest of all time. You feel me?
Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host, Lesego M, aka Future Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, if you are a fan of pod, stay tuned because you might like what we're cooking. On today's episode, we are talking about the Grammys. Tyla won a Grammy, Jay-Z won a Grammy, and a lot of people have been talking on social media about Beyonce being snubbed of Album of the Year. We'll talk about that later on in the show, I'm meant to say. So, yeah, even people are Killer Mike got 3 Grammys and he was arrested after he got those 3 Grammys. I think he had an acceptance speech of one of his Grammys and he was pulled out of the arena. So the name of the arena is crypto.com arena. So I don't know, it's in LA. For those of you who know the arena in LA, please comment in the comment section, and please do not forget to follow, like, and comment on the comment section. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. So the song of the day is Hood Politics by Kendrick Lamar, and the reason this is the song of the day is because when I was thinking about this entire saga regarding Killer Mike and him getting those 3 awards and after that getting arrested, there's a specific verse in Kendrick Lamar's song Hot Politics. For those of you who are big like hip hop heads, you'd know Gucci in Hot Politics. I meant to say, you'd know Gucci. He was speaking about how if people really cared about hip hop and the culture, Killer Mike would be a platinum selling artist. So that's just me paraphrasing between like the bars that he had in the song. So that's why that is the song of the day. So the reason, I know a lot of you might not be a fan of like hip hop and everything, Grammys and whatever that happened in the Grammys. I personally didn't watch the Grammys. I just like look over the highlights, everything that happened on social media. I've been busy. I know we're still on the road to 100 episodes. This is the episode, I think this is episode 94 if I'm not mistaken. So a lot has been going on as far as like personal life. So I've been going through a lot of, you know, changes, work, and you know, there's just been a lot. So that's why I haven't been able to release episode consistently. That's a mouthful. So yeah, man, I think firstly let's give a shout out to Tyla. Tyla, I think she took a Grammy for the song Water. I don't know the lyrics to the song, but I just know a lot of people who were very supportive of Tyla. And I remember I was watching one TikToker last week, and they were saying, within the music video there was a pothole. I think the music video of Truth or Dare, I think the song is Truth or Dare. In that music video, Tyla was in, I'm not sure what car that is that she was in, but there was a pothole somewhere within the music video. And some Indian guy was like, Tyla is representing South Africa. Did you see the car go through a pothole? That's her representation. Obviously, that's banter. That's banter for those of you who are listening. So please do not forget to follow, like, and comment to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen then, man, I wanted to talk about the Jay-Z speech. The Jay-Z speech was very powerful. I know even people on social media were talking a lot about that, and I want us to I don't know if it's to dissect some of like the things that he said on the Grammy stage, but I felt like for the longest time, you know that Jay-Z has never said a lot of things about the Grammys on the Grammys platform, but he's always said a lot about the Grammys on like the songs, even the NFL. There's a bar that he had on the song. I don't remember when he was saying, I think it's ape shit when he was saying, would he like at the NFL needs him, he doesn't need them, and like those bars, he always has those sneaky bars that he just sneak bars that he puts in his music. So like it was the first time hearing like Jay-Z speak like Kanye on a platform as big as the Grammys, right? So, and I think what triggered that in my own perspective, I think when you got to listen to that, you'd understand that Beyonce has like 32 Grammys, and in those 32 Grammys, Beyonce has never won Album of the Year. Even with like the Lemonade being like one of like the iconic albums Beyonce released, the Renaissance film that came out, the documentary that came out, that was big because everybody was talking about that on social media. They were even talking about Blue Ivy being the daughter of Beyonce. So I, for one, I don't understand why Beyonce didn't get that, and the reason why for all those years she has never won an Album of the Year, even when, you know, Lemonade was one of like those albums where I was like, yo, Beyonce deserves it. And I think I'm one of the people who's a big Beyonce fan, but at the same time I'm not one to follow the numbers to see what did Beyonce win, what didn't she win, because outside of the numbers and the musicality of it, sonically Beyonce is nice, you know, like you listen to any Beyonce music, in my own perspective, in my own understanding, and this is my own opinion and I own it, and I think Beyonce is like one of the greatest. He's the GOAT, you know, like vocally, dance, you name them, pop, she is one of those like artists where like Beyonce, she kills it on stage, she kills it on the mic, you know. I think even with MJ, Michael Jackson, people love them on the dance floor. He's a performer. Same with Beyonce, is also inspired by MJ, and I think seeing that, I just love Beyonce personally for the person that she is, on the person that I see, you know, on social media. I like that about Beyonce, right? There's just a lot of things that I could say alongside like people like Olivia Spencer, Viola Davis, Lebo Mashile, and there's one woman that I've Naledi Pando. Those are like the females that I truly like adore and love, you know. So yeah, man, I know like this wasn't supposed to take this trajectory, but I had to like, you know, speak about that on this episode. But again, I feel like when we speak about music, inspiration, and a lot of women within entertainment culture, the certain things that you get to look at, and Beyonce is one of the few people. And what Jay-Z was actually saying on that speech, he was saying, it's unfair, and he doesn't understand the fact that like Beyonce has won 32 Grammys and never has she won an album for the year. That's something to talk about, right? So another thing to talk about in this episode, I think there was a lot of like the beehives were saying Beyonce has never bought a Grammy and Jay-Z is a billionaire. They're both billionaires, they married to one another, and people were saying Beyonce has been like, there's been rumors on social media for sure, like, you know, that you can go to Twitter and you search that, you know, it exists. People were saying Beyonce has been buying Grammys, Jay-Z, because even Blue Ivy, if you know the story behind Nas, you know, like Nas has released Elmatic was released 96, if I'm not mistaken. It was released 96 and he's never won any award whatsoever. The Grammy that he won last year, if not last year, that was the first Grammy that Nas won after like years of Jay-Z winning like awards with Song Cry, just to mention a few. So if you get to look at that and you're like, the same year that Nas is winning the Grammy, Blue Ivy, who's like the daughter of Jay-Z, got her first award. You know, it's in the same. That's why it started there in social media, like people saying Jay-Z is buying those awards or Beyonce is buying those awards because they've won so many awards, right? So when this happened, the Beehive were coming out and saying, yeah, guys, Beyonce has won 32 Grammys, right? So, but she's never won Album of the Year in all the Grammys that she won, you know, she's never won Album of the Year. And that goes back to the conversation of them buying awards. You know, if Jay-Z was complaining or was ranting on stage, or like he even said on the stage, when I'm nervous, I tend to speak the truth. And that was the truth. And that's why a lot of people are talking about it on social media, right? So I think let's talk about it on the comment section. Please do not forget to like, follow, comment, and leave a notification to get a notification for each and every time we release a new episode. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, aka Future Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. So yeah, man, I did talk about the song of the day, which is Hood Politics, and the song featured people like Thundercat. Thundercat is an amazing guitarist from the United States, and for those of you who didn't know this, Thundercat actually went to the same school as who's that guy? He was featured on Kendrick. He's one of like the people who are in the stable. What's the name of TDE, Top Dog Entertainment? So they were in the same stable as Kendrick Lamar. People like Epso, J-Rock is the name I was looking for. So they were part of the same stable, right? So Thundercat went with the guys to the same school, and he's one of like the producers in Hood Politics. So that's what I wanted to speak about in this episode. And the reason Hood Politics is the song of the day is because of that line that Killer Mike had in that song, and to address the fact that what happened on the fact that happened on the Grammy stages, the fact that Killer Mike, and shout out to Killer Mike, he won 3 awards, Grammy Awards. First time ever for him to win Grammy Awards. I don't know for what. I'm even in question of that. Like, Killer Mike won 3 awards. I don't understand for which category. I know there's songs that I've listened from Killer Mike, and like a lot of people, if you were to say they must mention 3 Killer Mike songs, they wouldn't give you those 3 songs. And even I, for one, like, don't think the Grammys are like fair, or like, I don't know how they rank the people they give awards to as far as like Killer Mike, the scenario with Killer Mike, because now like the Grammys is a big platform if you were to win a Grammy and we don't know you. And it goes back to even like way back then when Eminem released was it a documentary or an interview with Sway, where he was saying he lost in the category where they were like unknown artists. So he was speaking about an artist by the name of Ladi Dadi. I don't even know who Ladi Dadi is, and he won an award over like Eminem. Like when Eminem was like releasing like Slim Shady, like he was releasing Stan, he was releasing like all those dope songs that he was releasing back then, but he was snubbed. And the award went to like a white artist and by the name of Ladi Dadi. I don't know if you all remember that, but I think it's something to talk about. Do you think the Grammys are still relevant? Why is it still a part of the culture if a lot of people are putting so much behind the Grammys? Even J. Cole doesn't have a lot of Grammys, right? But J. Cole makes a lot of like great music, right? If you were to talk about the Mount Rushmore, you would put people like J. Cole, people like Kendrick Lamar, people like Drake is a part of the Mount Rushmore, and even Nicki Minaj. You can put Nicki Minaj on there. So them not winning awards in that category, the only person that's won most awards is Drizzy Drake. Kendrick is the second. Cole or Nicki, I'm not sure. Nicki has never won a Grammy Award. I think Cole has won. So that goes to show you like the relevance of this, or like whatever they're using to gauge is not fair. There's some kind of biasness behind this, like do let me know in the comment section what you think. Let's talk about it in the comment section. What do you think makes the Grammys relevant today, and why is it still a part of the conversation? And I'd like to give a big shout out to Trevor Noah. He was the host, and a lot of people, even Tyla Swift, was like, yo, you killed it. Even though he was like, giving out a lot of jokes, nobody was offended with what he was saying, because like the Grammys have been known for like, drama. Same as the Oscars. I know that the Oscars, not a lot of people watch now, and we've did a review on like the Oscars, and like we were like, people are no longer talking about the Oscars. And with like the slap, that the Chris Rock slap, it tends to like bring in more views because of the Will Smith and the Chris Rock saga. That's why the views were up there yet. So, but it's going out, it's going out. People are more digital. People are like, are not watching anymore. And I think with the Grammys as well, if they don't change how they I don't know what's the word. I'm looking for a word to represent a thought or represent whatever that I want to talk about. I don't know how they scale. Is it scale the right word? I'm not sure if scale is the right word. How they rank their artists, would you like it? This is in the category. Even Hov spoke about it. Hov is Jay-Z, for those of you who didn't know. Hov spoke about it. It was like, some of you don't belong in this category. Some of you might feel like you've been robbed. Some of you won, but you didn't deserve it. And he was throwing a lot of shade, by the way. And that's Hov. And shout out to them, man. I still love Beyonce. I still love Hov. Shout out to Blue Ivy as well, man. I love them. And they didn't sit after that. After Jay-Z did his acceptance speech, they left afterwards. They left. And I felt like Beyonce wasn't even happy about that. Eminem did come out straight out and he's like, I'm never attending the Grammys ever again, because like you get called and there's hints that you might win but you don't win, and you find Uguti there's disrespect when artist that's even not known gets to win one of like the biggest categories. Like Eminem is a huge artist, and you find Uguti people like Glady Daddy, they get that award and I don't even know that artist. And it's not even like a racial matter at this point, because if it was a racial matter, Killer Mike won 3 awards, but nobody knows for which songs, right? Is it the one where we had a video that featured Dave Chappelle? Which one is it? Like I'm talking about it. He won hip hop album of the year, if I'm not mistaken, rap album of the year as well. He won those. I'm like, which album? Because I still feel like who's this guy? Metro Boomin deserved that album with like the heroes and villains. The album was very much nice. Like that's like the hip hop album that you'd want to listen to, because it featured people like Drake. It featured people like 21 Savage. There was a lot of people featured in that, and like it's a producer album, and it was called Heroes and Villains. I think that deserved more of an appreciation, as far as more of a recognition in terms of like getting an award and so on. So I felt like that was a snub to people like Metro Boomin, and it is a bit disrespectful if you like talk about it, if you were to be fair in this matter. I think I felt like it deserved it. I don't know what you think, but do let me know in the comment section, and please do not forget to follow, like, and comment to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. So yeah, I gave you the book of the day. I didn't speak about the book of the day. So like book of the day, I think we've done it before, and the book of the day is Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I've read the book. I've read it once, and I know there's like a saga with like Grant Cardone asking Ogosi, do we know Ogosi? Oh, so the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad is a guy by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. He's the author of the book, and I think Grant Cardone is also a billionaire. He was like questioning Ogosi, do we really know Ogosi who wrote the Rich Dad Poor Dad? Because he doesn't think Ogosi. Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the book. There might have been ghostwriters as far as like the book is concerned, and I don't know if it's like envy, it's jealousy, because I know there was a thing between Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone. There was a clash, and people could see it in the interview as well. I don't know if it's the same thing with Robert Kiyosaki and Grant Cardone, because like with Grant Cardone, I feel like there's insecurities there, because I've seen a certain pattern happen with him and Gary Vaynerchuk, which is a lot of people know him as Gary V. And I saw the same thing with like Robert Kiyosaki, and he was like bashing the book. The book is an amazing book for anyone who wants to start a business, for anyone who wants to upskill or and like learn something new, and financial literacy wise. I think that's the book, because it gives you insight on the psychology of money. It gives you the psychology of money and how to build and how to take care of your finances. It gives you a different perspective to that a lot of people don't have, especially in like black neighborhoods. You are not being given the tool of financial literacy, right? So there's a huge gap between the rich and the poor, and I think it's because of the knowledge that we don't have, and Robert Kiyosaki shines a lot of light on that. I think that's one of like my top 5 books of all time, alongside The Psychology of Money, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Becoming by Michelle Obama. I don't know which is the 4th book. The 48 Laws of Power is like the 4th book. The The fifth book, I haven't finished. I'm reading something now, but I haven't finished that book. But that like, those are like my top 5 books that I've written. And Michelle Obama is like one of like the few people that I actually adore as well, like women-wise. On the top 5 that I've already mentioned, which is Naledi Pandor, Viola Davis, Olivia Spencer, Lebo Mashile, Lebo Mashile, and Michelle Obama is a part of that as well. You know, those are like the few women that I like, and I don't know why, but I do like them. I do love them very much. And I think with Viola Davis, Viola to me is the same way I perceive or I look at Denzel Washington. It's like Denzel Washington, but in a female version of it. She's the female version of Denzel Washington to me, you know. So I think I'm still figuring out as to why I do like Viola Davis. But yeah, that's all we had for today's episode, man. I really do apologize for not releasing 6 episodes. I think now we're supposed to be hitting about 100 episodes, but we still on 90. This is like the 94th episode, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you to everybody that's listening. I saw on South African charts we are at the 40th place, despite the fact that we've released 94 episodes. So shout out to everybody that's listening to us. And for the celebration, the 100 episode celebration, we want to do something big, right? Do leave a comment what you think we must do for the 100 episode on the podcast. Do we go live? What are we doing? Are we going on social media? Are we doing the blogs? Do let me know in the comment section. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, Daddy Report, aka Future Short. Maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Let's meet tomorrow on another exciting episode of Backroom Convos with Lesego M. Cheers.